Hello and welcome to Kent Tonight, live here on KMTV. I'm Finn McDermott and here are your top stories on Friday the 24th of October. Distressed and disgusted, Who residents demand compensation after sewage overflows.
Apparently it happened once in 30 years ago. Now we've had it twice in 3 weeks.
Traffic trouble. Residents in Maidstone say they're suffering due to a rat race caused by loose road closures.
You can see there's a van going past now. You can see how tight the roads are around here. They're tiny country lanes. They're designed for carts and horses. They're not designed for the big cars we have today.
And from KMTV to social media stardom, we catch up with our former colleague Joy, who's up for a global TikTok award.
This time last year in October is when I decided to quit my job and become a content creator. That's what I wanted to be.
But first tonight, residents in Who are calling for compensation. This all comes after sewage overflows from recent heavy rainfall that's also wrecked gardens and garages. Those living on Marley Road say there's been a foul smell in the air for weeks. Southern Water sent teams down to clean up the next day and they blamed unflushables. This includes sanitary items or cleaning wipes for blocking those pipes. Well, our local democracy reporter Ollie Leader has been speaking to one resident, Helen Bruce. She says more needs to be done for her and for her neighbours.
I just can't imagine even gardening being the same. You just keep thinking about the smell and the state and the mess, paper and everything everywhere.
Helen Bruce's garden contaminated with waste, a sign of the stink that's come after the storm in the Who Peninsula. It was on the 20th of October the 80-year-old saw sewage leaking down her drive after heavy rainfall, ruining a space she says was sculpted by her husband, who now has dementia.
Like when my husband was at home, he braked the drive and everything, and it's just sickening seeing it all. Just everything he's done, made the drive, the steps, it's even run down the path. It just makes me feel ill, the fact that things that he's done have been ruined with actual sewage.
You can see Southern Water hard at work behind me, clearing up some of these sewage overflows. But people living in the property say this isn't enough.
It's absolutely disgusting. This shouldn't be happening. They should have sorted the problem out. They've had 3 weeks to sort this out. What have they done? Nothing.
Tracy and Stephen Medhurst live 2 doors down on Marley Road. They've had to clear out their garage after what they say is the second bout of flooding in recent weeks.
Last 3 weeks we've had a horrible stench in the house. It's just permeating through the house. We cannot get rid of the smell. And no mention of any possible compensation, so I can't see them ever doing anything. I mean, I don't even know what channel we could go through to actually try and get compensation, to be honest.
Local councillor Michael Pearce has already written to the water company on the matter, saying this should never have happened in the first place.
There are many elderly residents here who have suffered a lot of distress from this situation, which has been ongoing for some weeks now. This isn't the first time it's happened, and as we're entering the winter period, we're likely to see more heavy downpours of rain, which is just going to exacerbate the situation. So this needs to be resolved quickly, and my residents need to be compensated for the distress, and I will push that quite hard.
In a statement, Southern Water said its teams found blockages in underground pipes along Marley Road and removed unflushables, wet wipes, fats, oils and grease, which caused external flooding, while also blaming heavy rainfall. But despite the company saying they've provided online forms as regards any customer compensation, the distress here is hard to put a price tag on. Ollie Leader in Who.
Now, if you're a local in Maidstone, you might already know what I'm about to tell you. Many of you are saying the time it takes you to maybe drive from your work back home has actually tripled, all because of roadworks in Luce. Now, this comes after a 5-week closure of the road, Luce Road, along the A229. This has left the town gridlocked. The energy company, SGN, are saying they need to carry out emergency gas mains repairs. And our reporter, Kristen Hawthorne's been down in the village, finding out more, having a look at just how many cars are being rerouted through this road. And according to her, she says that locals are simply being left to face the chaos.
You can see there's a van going past now. You can see how tight the roads are around here. They're tiny country lanes. They're designed for carts and horses. They're not designed for the big cars we have today.
A country lane in Maidstone filled with history and conservation is now facing traffic that residents say is ruining the area. But now, due to a 5-week closure of Luce Road that began recently, they say that the problem has only increased and are calling on the council for help.
So I walk my dog twice a day. I'm taking my life in my hands as I'm going down this lane. I'm crossing the lane down there. Sometimes I see drivers really going for each other, swearing at each other. Sometimes I have to try and sort these problems out because otherwise it's really dangerous.
Our mill building, which is a Grade 2 star listed, is continually being hit on some guttering, which is roadside. It's a leasehold property, so any damage which occurs is currently paid for out of the service charges that the leaseholders of the mill put together. There is no footpath for most of this walk, so where people are out walking their dogs or walking their children, while the diversion's going on, they tend not to do that. And it's absolutely necessary.
Although residents here are concerned about their personal safety and damage to property, it's the effect on wildlife and heritage in the area that really worries them.
Many people tell me that it's nothing like the area that it used to be. We're now becoming part of Maidstone's urban sprawl.
It's about not just slowing the traffic, it's really about trying to reduce the traffic flow because there's so much damage going on, as I say, to the wildlife, to the area as a whole. It's a historic area, very, very important, especially the mill because that's one of the last paper mills that existed in the area. We're in a conservation area, so something's got to be done about it.
A spokesperson from Kent County Council say they do understand and sympathise with residents, stating they've been advised by SGN that these works are essential for the gas supply. They also say that they're taking matters up with the gas company to see how they can reduce congestion and the impact on locals in the area. SGN has been approached for comment. So it seems that while some residents are having ongoing meetings discussing possible closures of Cripple Street, a one-way system, pitch points or barriers, residents here are hoping for a solution faster than the traffic. Kristen Hawthorne for KMTV, Maidstone.
Now, apologies Ashford fans, but we're going to stay in Maidstone, and residents in the town are calling for urgent action to solve what they're calling traffic chaos caused by lorries struggling to make it up the steep Wilmington Street. They say they're kept up at night by screeching tyres and reversing alarms as the stranded lorries retreat back down the hill for another run-up. They're worried about a serious accident, but apparently pleas to Kent County Council Highways to lay down an anti-skid surface on the hill are allegedly falling on deaf ears. Well, Maisie Walker joins me now. And Maisie, what have residents been saying?
Yeah, so residents of Maidstone are calling for urgent action as heavy good vehicles continue to struggle to climb up a hill at the junction of Willington Street and Daringwood Drive, particularly in wet weather. Drivers are often forced to stop, reverse and attempt to go again, leaving locals increasingly fearful that a serious accident is only a matter of time.
You say only a matter of time there. Let's talk about the timeline. How long has this been going on?
Yeah, so the issue has been going on since the new traffic lights were installed at the foot of the hill in August last year. But it's been getting worse as our weather does. In fact, during heavy rain on Monday, police were forced to close the road for over an hour between 2:50 p.m. and 4 p.m, while one HGV made several unsuccessful attempts to get up the hill. In fact, a local resident said that time and time again, if it's at all wet, they just can't make it. Their wheels start spinning and they go nowhere, sometimes even slipping backwards.
I see, we haven't got very long left, but tell us quickly, what was the local council's reaction to this?
So Maidstone Borough's council leader said that there seems to be a serious failure on Willington Street, which is causing substantial problems when it rains, yet the KCC leader and her councillors don't seem to be interested. Following that statement, a Kent Highways spokesperson acknowledged the concerns, saying that they are aware of the issues regarding the traction on Willington Street during wet weather, but want to allocate their limited resources to locations where there are clear and consistent patterns of incidents.
I see. Thank you so much for your time on this, Maisie. Now, Sainsbury's is testing facial recognition cameras in some of its stores, all to stop shoplifters. If it goes well, they'll consider putting the tech in shops around the country, obviously including here in Kent. They say it's to tackle retail theft, but others think it's an invasion of privacy. Well, what does Gillingham think?
It's an invasion of privacy. I don't think I should have to walk into a shop and my face be scanned and sent to all their data recognition systems and things like that. I mean, it's my information at the end of the day. I don't know why just going into a shop I should have to allow them to do that.
I think this is really threatening privacy, civil liberties and equality. I think it's making you feel watched all the time.
Some people don't like it, but personally, I think it's cool as long as they are not giving my data out and it's being stored properly. And I think like the likes of the GDPR rules.
Time for a break now, so we'll see you in just a few minutes. Welcome back to Kent Tonight live here on KMTV. And I told you not to worry, Ashford fans, because your council isn't giving up on the long empty leisure centre. That is, of course, Elwick Place, which has only 4 businesses filling its many vacant units. The Borough Council now plan to overcome this by relaxing the planning rules on the site. This could also allow for more flexibility in who can occupy those spaces, and that venues for live music, arcades, indoor sports and art galleries would now be able to appear in the site. The owners of the businesses already there are pleased to hear this, with one saying that anything that provides more footfall to the development is only a good thing. Next tonight, she made a name for herself here on KMTV, and now she's been nominated for TikTok's Rising Star Creator of the Year award. I am talking, of course, about our former intern and Generation Genome presenter Joy, who usually goes by the handle It's Just Joy. She covers news and views about the world of entertainment, and her interviews with A-listers Tom Cruise, Margot Robbie, Idris Elba and The Rock have gone viral. Well, earlier she joined me from her home studio to talk all about the nomination. Thank you so much for joining us, Joy. First of all, how does it feel to be nominated for TikTok's Rising Star Creator of the Year award?
It feels amazing. It's crazy. Like this time last year in October is when I decided to quit my job and become a content creator. That's what I wanted to be. And to think that 1 year later I'm being recognized by TikTok, when there's hundreds of creators, thousands of creators, even hundreds of thousands of creators.
Great. And what made you pivot from a full-time entertainment reporter role to being a content creator? What really fueled that for you?
Well, yeah, I've been working in entertainment journalism full-time for about 4 years now. And I had already grown my own platform, kind of resharing what I do behind the scenes, like a day in the life, or this is what it's like to go to the Doom premiere, and also resharing my interviews on there as well, and kind of my own content, my own style of content, whether that's lifestyle or, yeah, day in the life. So I was cultivating an audience anyway. And when I began to see the lines of content creation and journalism blur, and kind of the opportunities that you can get as a content creator, because my big goal is to be a TV presenter. You know, I want to host the big shows on ITV, Love Island, all of that stuff. And to know that content creators are at the forefront of getting picked for those jobs, I knew it was a time for me to kind of pivot and become my own entity and become my own person.
Now, you mentioned they're hosting and presenting TV shows like ITV or Love Island. I'm aware that you actually, when you used to work at KMTV, did present Generation Genome, which was at one point on ITVX. So tell us a bit about how KMTV got you started on your journey to where you are today.
When I had started at KMTV, I think Andy Richards, the channel director, was like, that girl has something to her. So yeah, the opportunity kind of just sort of came, and he thought I was the perfect person for the job. And it was like my first kind of immersion into TV, like being on set, like having like lights and reading a teleprompter. It was like the first proper official professional credit I had.
You mentioned there the lights, the teleprompter, the presenting. What was your favourite thing about working at KMTV?
It sounds cliche, but it definitely was the people. Like, I had such amazing interns who were interning with me at the same time, and we were all literally sort of learning. And for us, obviously, we were studying at the same time. And this was one day or a couple of days a week where we could be professionals, So yeah, it was genuinely the people. Shout out to Jamie, who made it incredible. And like I said, Andy Richards and all of the other full-time journos were just incredible to learn from.
Now, from that to your career as a content creator, what do you enjoy most about your career now?
I think ownership, knowing that I can kind of, whatever I make, it's on my account, it's attached to my name, and, you kind of see the benefits when it comes to monetization, that is kind of all straight into your pocket. It can be a bit crazy, but when you're a content creator working in entertainment, you do have a sense of more of a balance, because you can kind of control your hours. Like, if there are days where I'm not feeling well, I can be like, okay, fine, I'll start work at midnight. Or if it's 10 p.m. at nighttime and something breaks, I can be like, oh, let me just do this quickly and then lay in the next morning. So it's nice to have that kind of flexibility.
Amazing. And do you have any advice for anyone who might want to enter the world of content creation and influencing?
I think if you are going to do it, I think you need to have a plan and know your niche. I think understand how media is changing and how people are consuming content and news differently, and then find whatever it is. You don't have to do entertainment. You can do entertainment, you could do music, you can do auto, like cars, and there's so many different niches within TikTok that we kind of work closely with them. I wouldn't discourage getting a full-time job. I think some people think, I'm just going to be a content creator. Like, without my full-time jobs, I wouldn't have been in this situation. So I do think getting a full-time job in media is a great way to start, because you can get paid to learn. And if this is something you want to do when by yourself eventually, getting that experience in-house, being a full-time member of staff, can again be an invaluable experience that will give you the skills that you need to become a full-time content creator yourself.
Amazing. Thank you so much for your time, Joy.
Thank you so much.
Now, for all you Gillingham and Ebbsfleet fans, here's a recap of your sports headlines from across the county with Alfie Rowe.
First up in football, Gillingham assistant boss Richard Dobson has urged his players not to be affected by their winless run ahead of their match against Salford City. It comes after the team have gone 4 League Two matches without achieving a win, with several players suspended or injured ahead of tomorrow's fixture against the North West side. But Dobson says that the upcoming match should be a more open game that will suit both the Gills and their visitors, as both teams will be playing to win rather than to draw. Continuing with football, Ebbsfleet United manager Josh Wright demands a rapid reaction from his players following their shock midweek defeat. Wright was surprised by the loss against Enfield Town only 3 days after their win against Dorking. He accused his team of being soft, saying that this isn't them and that the team didn't look like themselves. He says they need the support of their fans now more than ever, so that hopefully they can get back on track. And finally, in the rugby, Canterbury head coach Matt Corker claims their loss against Old Albanian came down to fine margins. The City club were defeated 43-31 in the National League 2 East at Woolham playing fields. Corker says they knew they needed to show their best going up against the top of the league, and that elements of their game were very good, but a few mistakes and a yellow card cost them the win. However, he says the team's drive was excellent all day and that there are positives to take away from the match when going into their next game against Bury St Edmunds on Saturday. That's all for now. More sports stories from across Kent on Monday, as well as a new edition of Invicta Sport.
Now it's time to take a look at the weather for the coming days. Well, it'll be a chilly start to the evening, with most of Kent seeing temperatures around 9 degrees, slightly milder 10 over in Dover. Tomorrow morning, temperatures remaining much the same. That'll be a little bit colder in Tunbridge Wells, over around 8 degrees. Moving into the afternoon now, Kent will enjoy some sunny spells breaking through the clouds, highs of 11 in Maidstone, lows of 10 elsewhere. And let's have a look at the outlook for the coming days. On Sunday, some sunshine across Kent, highs of 10. Monday, warming up a little, highs of 12 degrees. And sunshine on Tuesday with highs of 14. And finally tonight, the circus is in town in Sheppey this weekend, but long gone are the days of caged lions leaping through hoops, as Paolo's Circus is embracing the future. They're showing off their one-of-a-kind mechanical lion called Iron. It uses cameras, coding and AI to perform tricks that wow the audience. I went down to the circus to find out more and to meet Iron himself.
Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, gather round to see our performing lion. Only, it's not exactly the kind of lion you're thinking of. Ion is an AI-enhanced robot who performs at Paolo's Circus that is stocked in Sheppey. He's equipped with a LiDAR system that detects objects in a room, allowing him to move without colliding with anything. And he's the first of his kind in the world.
They love him in the ring. He comes in, he's very playful this year, so it's more of an introduction act. He's very comical, jumps through hoops, jumps over fire, interacts with the audience, he does handstands, stands up on his legs. Next year, he has something more serious to do. He's going to do a magic act next year, something a little bit different, a little bit more complicated. But this year is very playful, and the reaction has been great.
Now, Ion is a very clever robot indeed. He's got his own AI system called LiDAR that's able to tell him where and when he should go. And all you really need to do is clip a small sensor to your belt and he'll follow you. But he is also able to be remote controlled. But he has a bit of a personality and he doesn't always do exactly what his operator wants.
Okay, so just yesterday during the show, he done exactly what I said. He rolled over by himself, fully on his own accord. I done his second jump through a hoop, and then for some reason decided to take a little walk backwards. A lot of it can be like the level of the ground. If he finds himself unstable, he'll readjust. So he started to walk backwards. I corrected that, which then caused a roll, like just a full barrel roll. Fortunately, his ears and his head stayed on, which is our biggest fear, which has happened once or twice.
The robot was built to give something new to a modern audience, and with Ion's performing talents, the team at Paolo's say he's become a beloved member of the performance, along with their aerial acts, ringmaster and clown. The circus travels across the country, and it's ending its Bijou tour this year in Sheppey on the 9th of November. And by the time the next circus season rolls around, he'll be upgraded with new LEDs for eyes, a new mane and an entirely new face. In the future, Kenny says he'd want to have up to 8 lions doing tricks at once, but added the technology isn't yet up to scratch. Finn McDermott for KMTV in Sheppey.
Well, you've been watching Kent Tonight live here on KMTV. There's more news made just for Kent throughout the evening. I can't promise whether or not it'll include a robot lion, but who knows. But don't forget, you can always keep up to date with the latest news across your county by logging on to our website. You can also keep us on your social timelines on our Facebook and our TikTok. Well, it looks like that's all the time we have for tonight. So see you very soon. Goodbye.